Alright, what's going on, my boys? We about to get into this breakdown from yesterday's NFP trade. So basically, hold on, let me put the screen on. Basically, I'm just going to be showing how I was able to catch this whole down move right here. And it was NFP. So first things first, this is the move that I was able to catch. This right here. So everything that after the fact that happened is irrelevant in my opinion, because it kind of went after, it happened after the trade. So we're just gonna go back to right here because this is where I was looking to sell. It was about 8:29. I'm not exactly sure, but I know it was right before the news at 8:30, which is right here. This is where the momentum for NFP and the news is all gonna get put in. So basically, let me just do what I was doing when I woke up and marked up my charts and everything. So we're just gonna start off by marking up the previous day's high, previous day's low. Boom. Once you have those, we're going to mark up the 12 a.m. open, which is going to be the open of this last blue candle at the 12 a.m. So right here. Boom. Now we're going to get the last part of the markup. Well, basically the framework. We're going to mark it up just like this, get the Asian session range, and boom. So first things first, I need you guys to understand that there was also a gap in between here. So if you understand the way the market opens and what time it opens, right here on Thursday, there was a gap in between the open. So the gap is going to be from where this candle closed to where this candle opened, which was a gap right in here. So this gap all in here, I'm going to make it blue. This is the gap that opened that ended up getting almost fully filled. So keep in mind, before all of this price action happened over here, where price started to push up, we still had this much of the gap to fill. And by gap, I just mean that daily open gap. It's just an opening gap, simple. So now we're kind of putting 1, 2, and 3 together. And by 1, 2, and 3, I mean time is coming into place. So I know there's likely going to be momentum. Also, I see that we're coming up to run this Asian session high, which is one of my indicators for potential trade. Why is it a potential indicator? Because I know that once we run this Asian session high and fully fill in this gap, and going into 8:30 where there's a lot of volume, I know that once we grab the liquidity from above this high, also, let me look at another confirmation. That previous day's high we had marked up and that previous day's low, well, not even previous day's low, we're going to be using the current day low. What are we going to be using that previous day's high and the current day low for? I'm going to be drawing a fib from it. And look at that. We see that we have this 38.20% continuation on the fib. So now we have multiple reasons in this specific area for potential trade. You have the Asian session high. It's about to get ran. 8:30 a.m. NFP news. So that means we're more than likely going to get momentum, meaning volume. And what do we want volume for? So we don't have to sit inside of a consolidating trade. So we have the Asian session high is about to grab the liquidity at 8:30 a.m. So time, price. We also have that fib short, 38.20%, that matches up in confluence with this area right here. I'm trying to see what was that. I'm pretty sure there was another confirmation that I'm missing. I think it was a fair value gap on the hour or fair value gap on the 4 hour. Or it was on the 5 minute, or the 1 minute. Let me just see. It was right above this Asian session high. I think it was right over. I think it was on the 5 minute. Hold on. I'm just trying to find exactly where it was. Okay, right here. You look at the gap. So if you look at the 5 minute for value gap right here, from this low to this low, this is going to be the overall for value gap that I was expecting price to trade into. I knew there was a chance that it could go all the way to this high, but in my opinion, I had a way to work around that. And that way that I worked around it is I'm simply going to be waiting for price to run this Asian session high. Once it runs that high, I'm going to have a 10-point stop. That's what my mindset was going into. Why 10-point stop? Because I know to the bottom of these lows is at least 20 points. So if I'm risking 10 points, I ideally want to be making at least 20, 30, 40 points. And that's just because I want to have a good risk reward. So this is the reasoning I was entering the trade. It was running the Asian session high. It was about to tap into this 5-minute fair value gap. And it was about to tap in that 5-minute fair value gap. It also was tapping into the 38.20% on this fib short that I have. Boom. Hold on, didn't mean to do that. It was also tapping into the fib short I had at the 38.20%. And the Asian session low was already ran, so I know there's a chance that once it grabs this liquidity, it could continue going lower. Why would I expect it to keep going lower? Because the previous day was bearish. So simply, yesterday was bearish. I'm looking for more than likely a selling opportunity. We're running buy-side liquidity in the same direction that we want to go. So this is what then led me to take this trade. So let's just see what happened. We're going to go into that 5-minute. We're going to see what happened. Let's see if price, boom, it started to react. So at this point, I was in the trade because I was in the trade from 8:29, I'm pretty sure. So if you look at where that is, I think there's still time till it comes up. So let's see. Let's give it some time. Okay, started to come down a little bit. And then right here, this is where the volume started kicking in around 8:22. I'm gonna stick to the 5-minute time frame just because there's no point in me waiting. But as you can see right here, this is where everything started to play out. Now keep in mind, we never really came exactly to this fair value gap, but that's not the point. Is the framework nonetheless. So let's just let price keep doing its thing. Wait for it to come into this 8:30, and that 8:30, we're likely gonna see that big drop right there. Now what happened? With this drop at 8:30, price did what? Targeted the current lows, boom, but also what did it target? That previous day's low. The previous day's low is where I was able to scale off the majority of my position. I took off partials at this low because I know that once we ran this low right here, there was a chance that price could reject it like it's doing right here and then potentially go higher, because I've seen that before. Every time New York session grabs the London session's liquidity, a lot of times it does have a potential reversal. In this case, it wasn't a reversal, and I was correct on this overall trade idea. Majority of my position, like I said, was scaled out at the 1 to 2, but then I still had runners that I was able to scale out at this previous day's low. So this right here was the ideal trade. I was able to catch the high of it and the low, because as you can see from here, after I was able to leave my runner and scale 99% out of this position, look at what happened. If I just go to regular speed, boom, price came down a little bit lower, but it overall kept rejecting this area, ran the liquidity, and then did what? Started to reverse, going the opposite direction. And then right there is where my runner got stopped break even. So this was a great trade. Easy in my opinion, because this is just following the framework that I look for on a daily basis. And it was very clean because at 8:30, we had no drawdown whatsoever. It just went straight one direction. So I was in and out of that trade within 1 minute. If anything, less than 1 minute. I was holding the trade longer than I was actively in profit, if that makes sense. But then from here, as you can see, price kind of started playing around for the most part, and then it ended up consolidating for the most part of the day. So this was ideally the best trade case scenario, because we were able to have our setup play out at a specific time and give us our good entry and good exit, meaning London session low exit or previous day's low exit. And then from there, price literally reversed. You can't get any better than that. And I also called this trade out live, and I have the live recording of it, so there's no cap in my rap. It is what it is, but it's a simple little trade breakdown. This is something that you can easily follow every week. It's not going to happen every day, but just wait for these similar types of setups. Wait for the Asian session high to get ran at specific times of the day. London session, New York session, but also don't make sure that's the only confirmation. You have to have multiple confirmations. In this specific trade, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 confirmations. 5, it was above the 12 a.m. open also, and it created this high of the day. So it ran this liquidity, created the new high of the day during 8:30, and then dropped. So 5 confirmations for this trade. Never hop in just based off of one. You always want to have multiple, because the more, the better. And also, look at it right here. That fair value gap that was right here, it officially got ran through right here. It didn't get fully filled, unfortunately, but it's never going to be perfect. If you were to take the 50% of that small fair value gap in there, right in here, you would have been able to get your entry. Yes, you would have. And yes, it would have been hard to potentially try to do this and try to catch it in the moment, but that comes with experience. And once you're able to see setups like this happen over time, you're going to be able to replicate these types of things. So with that being said, that was the trade breakdown. Hopefully you guys are able to replicate similar situations to this. And if you can, make sure to let me know. But with that being said, I'm going to see you all in the next one.